first and 10 for the Owls. 1:18 left. Willie to Cobb, quick hitter, 50, 45, 40. He could go at the 30, 25, 20. It'll be a touchdown, Rice, and that'll wrap it up. They're going to throw now, looking, a lot of time, fires, picked off by Tony Barker at the 40, at the 30, at the 20, looking for a block at the 15, at the 8-yard line, knocked out of bounds, and Tony Barker with his 4th interception of the season. Here's LaRocca, takes a snap, wants to throw it, looking, fade pattern in the corner, Hanley's there, touchdown Rice! The 1991 football season for the Rice Owls had a number of thrilling moments, and the fans responded to the Owls' exciting style of play by turning out to watch them in record numbers. The Owls began the 91 campaign at Northwestern, and even though these Wildcats would later defeat the likes of Illinois and Michigan State, the Owls manhandled the team in purple on this day. Junior running back Trevor Cobb got his season out to a great start by rushing for 193 yards and 3 touchdowns. While receiver Louis Ballady also had a banner day, finishing with 6 big catches and 1 touchdown grab as the Owls won big. In New Orleans on the second weekend of the season, the Owls took on Tulane, wanting to avenge last year's close loss. And with Greg Willig directing the Owls' balanced offensive attack, the Owls rolled to an early lead and then hung on for the win. Tulane made it close in the 4th quarter, but when Joey Wheeler intercepted the Green Wave's 2-point conversion, the Rice win looked to be wrapped up. But if there was any doubt left, seconds later Cobb put the game on ice, rushing for his 3rd touchdown of the contest. The Owls prevailed 28-19, and it marked the first time that Rice has started the season with back-to-back victories since 1972. Next up for the Owls was Iowa State of the Big 8 Conference. And that standout offensive line for the Owls once again took control early. And once again, Greg Willig got the offense going, but this time he did it running behind that outstanding line for the Owls' first score. Again, All-America running back Trevor Cobb had the biggest day of all, rushing for 240 yards and 2 touchdowns. And despite a freak ending to the game which allowed Iowa State to score 11 points in the closing minute and a half, Rice's biggest non-conference crowd in 8 seasons looked on, and the fans had plenty to cheer about that Saturday afternoon in the Owls' cliffhanger of a home opener. The 4th week of the season found the Owls in Austin, taking on the Texas Longhorns. And even though Rice lost the game, the contest marked the emergence of a couple of true freshmen, quarterback Josh LaRocca, number 16, and wide receiver Jimmy Lee, number 14, as the young duo hooked up for the only Rice TD of the day. The 5th week of the season, the Owls were in Waco, taking on the number 7 rated Baylor Bears.
Maston coming, Cobb through the middle, touchdown Rice!
And this game was a dream come true for many of the young Rice Owls. They showed the opposing crowd in Waco and a huge TV audience what Rice football was all about.
Joe Chase down, drop, Matt Sign showing that incredible up-front quickness.
And this time it was freshman Josh LaRocca running the Owl offense in the 4th quarter. He came up with some clutch throws late that helped put the Owls in position to score the winning points. And Darrell Richardson towed through the go-ahead field goal with 2:35 left. The Owls defense then came up with a tremendous effort, holding the Bears offense in check. And when Derek Rutherford and Sean Alberding led the charge to stop Robert Strait on 4th down, the Owls' victory was assured. The Owls ran out the clock to beat the Bears 20-17. And the victory was the first for a Rice team over a top 10 ball club since 1965.
Owls need one more snap, and they've got the biggest win in the modern era of Owls Owl football.
I heard one coach on the sideline saying this is a shot heard round the world. It is heard all around the football world.
Great play. Great game, coach. Good job, man. Good job. Real good job.
The following 2 weeks, though, saw the Owls' youth and inexperience show through. First, they looked to be on their way to yet another win as Greg Willig threw for 3 first-half touchdowns against TCU. But even after building a big 15-point lead in the third quarter, the Owls couldn't hold on and wound up falling short of victory. And that game was followed by another loss at Texas Tech on a day that just about everything went wrong for the Owls. But on the 8th week of the season, the Owls hosted Texas A&M. And with the biggest crowd of the season looking on, the Owls were ready for the Aggies. This LaRocca TD pass to Eric Henley tied the game early. And then when senior linebacker Tony Barker intercepted this Bucky Richardson pass, the Owls wound up with great field position. Moments later, LaRocca ran it in on the option, putting the Owls up 14-7. As the game progressed, the highly rated Aggies, who would go on to win the SWC title, got back on top and wound up winning the contest, but the young Owls battled all the way before coming up short. During week 9 of the season, the Owls rolled over a fired-up SMU ball club in that school's homecoming game. Cobb ran for over 200 yards again, and he scored 2 touchdowns. And LaRocca wound up running for 2 scores himself as the Owl offense continued to click. And in the meantime, Matt Sine and the rest of the Owl defense shot down the run-and-shoot attack of the Mustangs, and the Owls won by 21. Week number 10 found the Owls hosting crosstown rival Houston, and the Owls quickly jumped out to a 14-0 lead. But departing All-American quarterback David Klingler led the Cougars back, taking advantage of the Owls' youngsters in the secondary. Rice wound up losing. Then in the season finale at Little Rock, the Owls' defense played well against the bowl-bound Arkansas Razorbacks, but the Owls' offense just never got on track, and the Owls wound up falling as Arkansas avenged last year's loss to Rice. So the Owls finished with a 4-7 win-loss record in '91, which gives them 9 wins over the last 2 seasons. And the Owls have now won more games, 11, in the past 3 seasons under Coach Fred Goldsmith than the school had won in the previous 7 seasons before his arrival, which is a major accomplishment.
Granted, it was a great accomplishment because, from where this program was to where it is now, but, we still have a long way to go, and, we're not through here yet. We're definitely not satisfied with 5 wins and 4 wins the last 2 years. I mean, it's time we take that next step to the next plateau with the winning season, the bowl game, and the Southwest Conference Championship.
Each season, more and more of the sports fans of Houston are finding out about those enthusiastic players with the wings on their helmets at Rice. In fact, this past season, as the Owls averaged over 30,000 fans per home game, they showed a 39% increase in overall attendance, which represents the biggest crowd increase percentage-wise of any school in the nation. As Goldsmith continues to build his program here at Rice, he constantly looks to improve his ball club's performance, so he's already looking forward to the '92 campaign, which promises to be an exciting one. But he also won't forget about the 1991 season, during which there were many great individual performances turned in by Rice players. And he especially remembers the leadership provided by this past year's seniors.
You can't help but reminisce about the great 3 years that Eric Henley's had with us as a receiver. Finished as the 3rd leading receiver in the history of the Southwest Conference. That's a big statement. Going on to play in the Senior Bowl. I would go out and play with 22 guys that were 5'8", 165 pounds, just like Eric. What a battler, what a leader, what a tough guy. He's the epitome of what you look for, in the heart of a football player. Trey Teichelman, another fine leader, won the American Spirit Award, 2-time All-Conference, 4-year starter. Joel Dawson, A starter at times on offense, a starter at times on defense. That's rare. An inspirational guy for our football team. Tim Wynn, a guy that started as a wide receiver, wound up as a tight end, 20-some-odd catches this year, 2 touchdowns, really battled to be a first-team player, and then became a good first-team player in his senior year in 1991. Larry Stuppy, I came to us from junior college as a defensive lineman, and was moved to offensive guard, learned it in 1990 as a starter, became a good offensive guard in 1991, and along with Trey Teichelman were 2 of the seniors that helped pave the rushing records for Trevor Cobb. Tony Barker, 1 tackle shy of O.J. Braganza's tackle record, 5 interceptions. You know, David Griffin, all-conference 2 years ago. Didn't play much because of injuries the last 2 years, but we'll miss those fellas.
As for the future of Rice football, well, it never looked brighter. Next season promises to be a great one for the Owls. All-American running back and Doak Walker Award winner Trevor Cobb will be back in '92, ready to add to his already impressive list of school rushing records, which includes an amazing 3,562 yards rushing in his first 3 seasons at Rice. Cobb and 5 other starters will return for the '92 campaign, and they'll be joined by a pair of promising transfers, quarterback Bert Emanuel of UCLA and tight end Bobby Gray, also of UCLA. Quarterbacks Greg Willig and Josh LaRocca will have another year of experience under their belts, as will those young, exciting receivers like number 29, Ed Howard, and number 14, Jimmy Lee, who were both true freshmen in 1991. So the Owls' already exciting offense should only get better in '92.
I think because of experience, you know, I think that plays a big role, and you know, everybody got a lot of confidence and been through the system, you know, quite a bit. So I think that's going to help us a lot.
And the kicking game should continue to be in good hands in the future. Darrell Richardson, the freshman out of Carrollton, handled all the kicking and punting chores in '91, and he'll be back again for the 1992 campaign. Defensively, the Owls will boast of more depth than ever before in '92. Even though they'll be losing standout linebacker number 99, Tony Barker, the other 10 starters on defense will all be back for '92. And of the 18 redshirted players from one of Rice's finest recruiting classes ever, several are tabbed for action on the defensive side of the ball. Plus, 2-year starter Corey Seymour will be back from injury, and defensive lineman Sean Colvin, a transfer from Purdue, should see plenty of action. In '91, nose guard Matt Sine and linebacker Alonzo Williams were 2 of the inspirational leaders on this ball club. And for their leadership and big play abilities, both were voted to the Exxon Supreme Performer team this past season, and both will be back in '92. And those young standout secondary players from '91, Nathan Bennett, number 33, Clifford Jackson, number 21, and Sean Washington, number 9, will all be back for the '92 campaign.
When we came in our freshman year, all the freshmen were thinking, hey, we're supposed to be the class that, you know, brings this team up. And our freshman year, we had a pretty good season. We went 5-6, and then this year we went 4-7. So we did a lot of good things this season. You know, we let a few games slip away here and there, but next year that's not going to happen because, you know, we're going to have a better mentality. We're going to have more maturity on the team. You know, we're going to know how to win those close games.
So the future of Rice football looks brighter than ever. And Coach Fred Goldsmith is the man behind the Owls' surge to the top. Goldsmith and his talented and experienced staff of assistants pride themselves on teaching the fundamentals, while at the same time listening to the players' input, which makes the Rice football team one of the tightest units in the nation, as everyone pulls in the same direction in the Rice system.
Well, Coach Goldsmith is the guy. I mean, when I first talked to him about coming here, he was talking about if you're a good player, he's going to let you play. I mean, he's not going to hold you back. When you get in the game, you make a mistake, hey, he'll tell you to get up and do better the next play. Nobody got injured, nobody got hurt, nobody got tired. Just get up, make the play, and that's what he's teaching the team around here. I mean, he's a great coach, and I think he'll be around for a long time.
Well, I think once you know, a team learns that you know, you got to stick together, everybody have one common goal, then great things will happen.
And with the foundation being laid over the past 3 seasons, the Owls are hoping to make another move upward in 1992.
Recruiting looking great for the future, but the people are here now that will comprise our 1992 football team, and we're excited about the prospects of 92 and the rest of the 90s. Things have changed, things have turned the corner here at Rice, and the wings are flying over Texas today.
I think we finally do have some maturity on this team, and not only that, the character of the seniors coming up, we're not going to accept losing. I mean, we've won some games, but we did not win anything from what we should, and we're going to next year.
The Owls are scheduled to next spread their wings September 5th as they play next season's opener against Air Force. And they're hoping that when they talk about postseason bowl teams, the Owls will be the real thing in '92.